Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is 23rd January 2025. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Before that, all of you please understand we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. You might be knowing the cost of the training is over 8,000 US dollars and it is a complete free training. All training lessons can be accessible at our NeoStock YouTube channel. At our channel homepage, click on the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing the tab Community, so click on the tab. You get access to this post. And this post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course playlist. Here you have all the training lessons are available. You need to start your training from lesson 1. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one and strengthen your skills related to supply demand zone price action. I have also provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. So please join at our Telegram channel. It will be useful to you. Each time we release a new video or any other important updates, we will be providing at our Telegram channel. Now let's get into the report generation. First I'm going to generate stocks near demand and supply zones and also price closed inside the demand and supply zones for higher time frames. Let me start with the yearly time frame. Price closed inside the yearly demand zone. 3 stocks are filtered. I'm giving you only few seconds time, so I request you pause the video, study the report and then proceed further to the next reports. In case if you did not understand the structure of the report, I request you complete our training lesson 21.1. Part 1 of lesson 21. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, next, yearly time frame. Stocks price closed inside the yearly supply zone. No stocks are available. Next time frame is half yearly. Stocks near half yearly demand zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next, half yearly time frame. Stocks near half yearly supply zone. 1 stock is filtered. Next half yearly time frame. Price closed inside the half yearly demand zone. 6 stocks are filtered. Next, half yearly time frame. Price closed inside the half yearly supply zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next time frame is quarterly. Stocks near quarterly demand zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next, quarterly time frame. Stocks near quarterly supply zone. 5 stocks are filtered. Next, quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. 27 stocks are filtered. And the first 21 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. Total 21 stocks. We can further filter this list based on quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. Let's set that filter in the EMA Confluence quarterly time frame. Quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence and trend on quarterly should be either up or down. Let's filter. See, now the list is come down to 15 from 27. All these quarterly demand zones are having quarterly EMA Confluence. Okay, next quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 3 stocks. Let's check any of these stocks are having quarterly EMA Confluence for the quarterly supply zone. In the EMA Confluence quarterly time frame, quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. Trend on quarterly can be up or down. Let's filter. 2 stocks are filtered. These 2 quarterly supply zones are having quarterly EMA Confluence. Okay, next time frame is monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone. 5 stocks are filtered. Next monthly time frame. Stocks near monthly supply zone. 11 stocks are filtered. Next monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly demand zone. 38 stocks are filtered. First 21 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 38 stocks closed inside the monthly demand zone. Let's verify how many of these monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA Confluence. So I'm adding the EMA Confluence filter on monthly time frame. Monthly demand zone having monthly EMA Confluence. Trend on monthly time frame can be either up or down. Let's filter. We got 17 stocks. These 17 monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA Confluence and current price closed inside the monthly demand zone. Okay, next monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. We got 9 stocks. Out of these 9, how many monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA Confluence? Let us filter. In the EMA Confluence monthly time frame, monthly supply zone having monthly EMA Confluence. Trend on monthly time frame should be up or down, and 3 stocks are filtered. These 3 monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA Confluence, but all 3 are pierced monthly supply zones. So you can use pierced zone strategies on these zones as you learned in lesson 28. Okay, next time frame is weekly. Stocks near weekly demand zone. 13 stocks are filtered. Next weekly time frame. Stocks near weekly supply zone. We got 19 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 19 stocks are filtered. Next weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We got 69 stocks. So first 16 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 69 stocks. Out of these 69 weekly demand zones, how many demand zones are having weekly EMA Confluence? Let's verify. So in the EMA Confluence parameter at weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence, and trend on weekly time frame should be up or down. So with these filters, out of 67, now the list is come down to 13 stocks. So these 13 weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA Confluence and also price closed inside the weekly demand zone. Next, weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly supply zone. Let's filter. So total 28 stocks are filtered, and the first 15 stocks in the list I'm scrolling the list down. So total 28 stocks are filtered. Price closed inside the weekly supply zone. So how many of these weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA Confluence? Let's filter. EMA Confluence, weekly time frame, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence. The trend on weekly time frame should be up or down. Let's filter. Now 13 stocks. All these 13 stocks are having weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence. This is about weekly time frame. Next time frame is a daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near daily demand zone. 14 stocks are filtered near to the daily demand zone. Now let us identify the high liquidity zones from this list. High priority, high liquidity zones only should be used for HLQ zone strategy, land in lesson 20, 1.3. So idea is having a high liquidity zone. OIL is having a high liquidity zone. State Bank of India is having high liquidity zone. That's it. We have identified 3 high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. Next, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks near daily supply zone. We got 16 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. First one, NIFTY consumer durables. You can't use it in F&O, so I am leaving that. Tata Steel is having a high liquidity supply zone. That's it. We have only one high liquidity daily supply zone from this list. Okay, next, for daily time frame, price closed inside the daily demand zone. We got 30 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 30 stocks are filtered. So out of these 30, how many are having daily EMA Confluence? Let's verify. So in the EMA Confluence, daily time frame, daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence filter is enabled, and in the trend on the daily time frame should be up or down. Let's filter the stocks. We got 5 stocks. And these 5 stocks are having a daily EMA Confluence and price closed inside the daily demand zone. And some of these daily demand zones also pierced. Those zones you have to use pierced strategies. Always look into PIE column. You know, PIE is the short name for pierced. Okay, next, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks where price closed inside the daily supply zone. We got 49 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 49 stocks. Price closed inside the daily supply zone. Out of these 49, how many of the daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence? Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence at a daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence with this filter, and trend also on daily time frame can be up or down, should not be sideways. Let's filter. Now the list is come down to 20 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So these 20 daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence. So this is about daily time frame. Next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. We got 8 stocks. Next 125 minutes time frame, stocks near 125 minutes supply zone. We got 11 stocks. Next time frame is 75 minutes. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks near 75 minutes demand zone. We got 10 stocks. Let us identify 75 minutes demand zones from this list, high liquidity demand zones. JK Cement is having a high liquidity demand zone. That's it. We have only one high liquidity 75 minutes demand zone from this list. Okay, next for 75 minutes time frame, let us find the stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. We got 7 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity zones from this list. So GMR Airports is having a high liquidity supply zone. That's it. We have only one high priority, high liquidity supply zone, 75 minutes supply zone from this list. So with this, we identified daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones. So next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. We got 13 stocks. Next 25 minutes time frame, stocks near 25 minutes supply zone. We got 8 stocks. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone. We got 4 stocks. Out of these 4 demand zones, how many are having ITF demand zone confluence? Let us verify. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, out of 4, we got 2 stocks. So these 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. That is overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. That is what zone confluence. Okay, next for 15 minutes time frame, stocks near 15 minutes supply zone. We got 4 stocks. Out of these 4 supply zones, how many are having ITF supply zone confluence? Let's verify. That is 15 minute supply zone with 75 minutes supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, out of 4, we got 1 stock. And this 15 minute supply zone is part of the 75 minute supply zone. Next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. We got 5 stocks. Out of these 5, how many are having ITF demand zone confluence? Let's verify. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, we got only 1 stock. So this 5 minutes demand zone is part of the 15 minutes demand zone. Okay, next for 5 minutes time frame, stocks near 5 minutes supply zone, we got 10 stocks. Out of these 10, how many supply zones are having ITF supply zone Confluence? Let us verify. That is 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone Confluence. I am enabling the filter. So with this filter, we got 4 stocks. Out of these 4, first one is a pierced zone. You can't use it anyway, it is indices. And remaining 3 stocks, the 5 minute supply zones are part of the 15 minute supply zone. So this is about stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. Next, we will generate a NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. So I am generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. So this is a NIFTY monthly supply demand zone chain. Always look into the zone column to find high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. Always look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame we have selected. And apply the same rules for the remaining reports. Supply demand zone chain reports. Okay. Next, generating a weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 125 minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 75 minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. This is the recent demand zone to the current closing price. Okay, next 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. So this is the recent demand zone. So to get more demand zones, I am scrolling the list down. Let me put it in the center so that all these are all demand zones, all these are all supply zones. And the 30 and the 31 serial numbers, they are nearest demand and supply zones to the current closing price. Okay, next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. All these are all supply zones. I am scrolling the list down. So 49, this is the nearest demand zone. 48 is the nearest supply zone to the current closing price. So let me scroll the list down. Let me adjust in the center. Okay. So this is about NIFTY supply demand zone chain. Next, BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. That is nothing but NIFTY Bank, generating a monthly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. 22nd you have serial number 22, nearest demand zone. I am scrolling the list down. Next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. All are supply zones. I am scrolling the list down. 34 PR's demand zone is the nearest demand zone to the current price. Let me put it in the center. Okay. So this is about Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Next set of reports are about bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly and daily income trade. First I am generating bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. So entry time frame daily, entry zone demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame daily, I am selecting bullish and zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhanced score should be 12. Both the filters are applied to daily demand zone. Let me filter the stocks. We got 8 stocks. Currently these 8 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. And these entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. Out of these 8 daily demand zones, some are having high liquidity zones, so that way they are getting some high probability to get the success. Apart from that, we will also check the high probability of the zones based on the zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. Let us filter. That is a daily and a weekly demand zone confluence, LTF, ITF. LTF is daily and weekly is ITF. So I am enabling the filter daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With this filter, we got 7 stocks out of 8. In all these 7 stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone. That means they are part of weekly demand zone. That's why if weekly demand zone is having weekly EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. And also in all these weekly zones, the trend is uptrend, ITF trend. So let's set the EMA filter. In the EMA at weekly time frame, I am selecting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. With this filter, we got 4 stocks out of 7. So these 4 stocks are supporting even more high probability to get the success. Maybe that is the reason why some of these stocks are already tested. Some are even more than once they tested. Look into the rejection count. More than once they tested. Okay, next let us filter based on LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. I am removing this ITF specific EMA confluence. Now we should focus on HTF specific. So in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Second filter daily demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. Third filter daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, daily, weekly, there is one more, weekly demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. That is daily, weekly, monthly demand zone confluence. We got 3 stocks. That means in these 3 stocks, these 3 daily demand zones are part of the weekly demand zone. Both together again part of the monthly demand zone. And monthly trend is up in first 2 stocks. In first two stocks, if any of those stocks are having monthly EMA confluence, monthly demand zone with monthly EMA, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Why? Because the daily zone together with the weekly zone is part of the monthly zone. So that's why in the EMA confluence, we are setting monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. Of course, the trend on monthly time frame should not be sideways. Because it is bullish trade setup, it should be uptrend, monthly trend. Now one stock is filtered. So this is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. So that's why this stock is already tested 3 times. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame daily. Entry zone supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, at entry time frame daily, I am selecting bearish. And the zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. Both the filters are applied to daily supply zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 2 stocks. And these 2 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame is or entry zones are daily supply zone. Out of these daily supply zones, both are high liquidity zones. Apart from that, we will also check whether any of these stocks are having zone confluence. First filter is LTF, ITF supply zone confluence. So in the EMA confluence, we have to look for supply zone confluence first. So in the supply zone confluence, I am setting the filter daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence, LTF, ITF supply zone confluence. So both the stocks are filtered. That means in both these stocks, these daily supply zones are part of the weekly supply zone. And the first stock is a downtrend. Weekly trend is a down, ITF trend. That's why if any of these 2 stocks are having a weekly EMA confluence, weekly demand zone with weekly, because the daily zone is part of the weekly zone. So they could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, because the daily zone is part of the weekly zone, overlapped. That's why we are looking for weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence, and trend is already downtrend weekly. So both the stocks are filtered. That means these 2 stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks and also having LTF, ITF zone confluence. Now let's check whether any of these 2 stocks are having even HTF confluence. LTF, ITF, HTF. I am removing EMA filter because that is ITF specific. So in the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Second filter daily supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. Third filter weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we did not get the stocks. That means they don't have HTF confluence. Okay, this is about bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next is weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Entry zone, demand zone. And we should set 3 filters. Pierced count also should not be. But before that, in bullish or bearish trade setup, at 75 minutes time frame, I have to select bullish. Because we are generating bullish trade setup, weekly income trade, entry time frame 75 minutes, demand zones. So these 75 minutes demand zones should not be pierced. So that's why in the pierced count parameter, at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count should be 0. That means zone is not pierced. And zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. And all the 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. We got 4 stocks. And these 4 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. And entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. All the 4 demand zones are 75 minutes demand zones. Okay, out of these 4 75 minutes demand zones, let us identify high probability setup zones. Already some are high liquidity zones. Apart from that, we will also filter based on zone confluence. LTF and ITF demand zone confluence is the first filter. That is a 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence filter I am enabling. With this filter, out of 4 stocks, 3 stocks are filtered. That means these 375 minutes demand zones are part of the daily demand zone. And daily trend is up in all the 3 stocks, ITF trend. If any of these 3 stocks are having daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, daily time frame, I am enabling the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. With this filter, we got 1 stock. So this is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Okay, next we will filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. I am removing ITF specific EMA filter. We have to look for HTF specific now. So we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Second filter is 75 minutes demand zone confluence with weekly demand zone. Third filter is daily demand zone confluence with weekly demand zone. With all the 3 filters, LTF, with all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. And we also should set zone achievement VOZ. Sorry, we already set, right? Yeah, let's filter. So we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these daily demand zones are part of the weekly, both together part of the monthly. See here, demand zone confluence, we are looking for weekly, daily, weekly 75 minutes and daily 75 minutes. All the 3 zones together. That means 75 is part of the daily, both together part of the weekly. And the weekly trend is up only 1 stock. If this is having weekly EMA confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Already it is filtered in LTF and ITF. Let's verify HTF also. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. So this is also having weekly EMA confluence. Excellent. So that is one of the reasons why this is a very powerful, already tested 4 times and 6 rejections from the zone. Rejections means prices entered in the zone and then moved out of the zone. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup weekly income trade, entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, supply zone in bullish or bearish trade setup. At entry time frame 75 minutes, I am selecting bearish, and this 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means zone is not pierced. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 75 minute supply zone. We got 12 stocks. And all these 12 stocks are currently supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. And entry time frame zones are 75 minute supply zones. All these 75 minute supply zones. We should look for all these supply zones. They are supporting bearish trade setup. And some of these supply zones are already high liquidity zones. That way they have some high probability. Apart from that, we can also look for high probability based on the zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, now the list is come down to 9 stocks. In all these 9 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone. That means overlapped with daily. And the daily trend is down in all these stocks, ITF trend. So that's why let us look for daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence, because 75 minute supply zone is already part of daily supply zone. So I'm enabling the filter, daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. With this filter, we got 8 stocks out of 9. That means all these 8 stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Okay, next let us look for LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. All the 3 zones overlap, all the 3 time frames. I am removing EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we should look for HTF specific. So in the supply zone confluence, we have to set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Second filter, 75-minute supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. Third filter, daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, that means LTF, ITF, HTF overlap, we got 3 stocks. So in these 3 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone. Both together again part of the weekly supply zone. And weekly means HTF. So HTF trend is down. Sideways EMA confluence does not add extra advantage. So that's why let us check if ABC Capital is having weekly EMA confluence. If it is having, it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock in case. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence filter is enabled, and trend on weekly should be downtrend, should not be sideways because it is bearish trade setup. So let's verify. So that stock is not having EMA confluence, weekly EMA confluence. So this is about bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, daily income trade. Bullish trade setup, entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame 15 minutes, I am selecting bullish. And this 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. We got 7 stocks. And these 7 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frames are 15 minutes demand zones, entry zones. Out of these 7 15 minutes demand zones, some are high liquidity demand zones. They are already having high probability for those zones. Apart from that, let us also verify more high probability based on the zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, out of 9 stocks, we got 6 stocks are filtered. So these 6 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. That means they are part of 75 minute zone. And 75 minutes trend is up in all these stocks, ITF trend. So that's why let us verify if 75 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA confluence, because 15 minute zone is part of the 75 minute zone. In the EMA confluence, 75 minutes time frame, 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence filter is enabled. With this filter, we got 2 stocks. So these 2 demand zones are even more high probability trade setup supported zones. These 15 minutes demand zones. Okay, fine. Now, next filter is LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. So let us remove this EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we need to look for HTF specific. So in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Second filter is 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. Third filter is 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF confluence, that is 15 minutes, 75 minutes and a daily demand zone confluence. We got 2 stocks. That means in both these stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. Again, both together part of the daily demand zone. And the daily trend is up in both these stocks, that is ITF, sorry, daily trend is sideways, HTF, not ITF is 75 minutes. So sideways EMA Confluence does not add any advantage, extra advantage. So I'm not filtering EMA Confluence. Even if they have EMA, that won't give any extra advantage. That means that won't add any extra high probability. So this is about a bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade, entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting bearish. These 15 minute supply zones should not be pierced. So in the pierced count column, at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. And zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Minimum order enhanced score should be 12. All three filters are applied to 15 minute supply zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 11 stocks. All these 11 stocks are currently supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And entry zones are 15 minute supply zones. Bearish trade setup, you have to use supply zones as an entry. So out of these 15 minute supply zones, some of the supply zones are having high liquidity zones. So that way they already got some high probability. Apart from that, we can also look for even more high probability based on the zone confluence. So zone confluence, we have to use two filters. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. With this filter, out of the 13 stocks, we got 11 stocks. That means in these 11 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. That means they are part of 75 minute supply zone. And 75 minutes trend, ITF trend is down in all these stocks. If any of these 75 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks, because 15 minute zone is part of the 75 minute zone. That's why in the 75 minute zone we are looking for EMA confluence. So in the 75 minutes time frame, I am setting the filter 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. With this filter, we got 3 stocks. So these 3 supply zones are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Okay, this is LTF, ITF zone confluence. Next, let us filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. I am removing EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we should use HTF specific filters. So in the supply zone confluence, we have to set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Second filter is 15 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. Third filter is 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF confluence. That is 15 minutes, 75 minutes and a daily supply zone confluence. We got 3 stocks. That means in these 3 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are part of the 75 minute supply zone. Both together again part of the daily supply zone. And the daily trend is down in second and third stocks. If any of these 2 stocks are having daily EMA confluence, daily supply zone with daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup. Let's verify if any of one of them are having in the EMA confluence at a daily time frame. Why daily? Because the 15 minute supply zone is part of 75 minutes, both together part of the daily supply zone. That's why we are looking for daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. But the trend on the daily time frame should not be sideways. Because it is bearish trade setup, the trend should be downtrend on HTF time frame. Let's verify. We got both the stocks. Both the stocks are filtered. That means both these daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. In those daily supply zones, our entry time frame supply zone, 15-minute supply zone is overlapped. It's not overlapped directly. It is overlapped with 75. Both together again overlapped with daily. And that daily zone is having daily EMA confluence. That's why we are saying these two are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. See the first one, Tata Elxsi is already tested once. Okay, this is about a bearish trade setup for a daily income trade. So in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I am scrolling the list down, whichever the stock you want to refer, there you pause the video, after that you can proceed further. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.